Hey y'all, it's Elle. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first video, thanks for stopping by, and if it's not, you're a liar, or from the future, because this is my first video. Today we are going to be looking at a speed build of my build for Lil Simsie's Circle Shell Challenge. I streamed it on Twitch a few weeks ago, so let's take a look at it. So I started out by finding an inspiration image that I wanted to use for sort of the design concept on the website Arc Daily. I absolutely love this website. It's got so many cool projects, and I'll throw a picture up on the screen in a minute here. But basically I decided that I wanted to do this sort of stacked circle concept with this flat roof and a large patio outside of it. So I started off by sort of building the base shapes. So the original building was a 2-floor building with the bottom open to the outside. So I started off by trying to do it as a basement. I haven't worked with basements in The Sims 4 a whole lot, so I quickly realized that you can't really make them open to the level above. On the original building, the landscape slopes down towards the lower level and then has stairs going up to the first level. And so I was trying to do that with like the basement and the terrain tools and realized that that wasn't going to work out. So I switched my attention back to working on just the shape of the building and then decided to move everything up a floor. At first, I lowered the foundation and so that the overall terrain wouldn't be so low. Later in the build, I decided to raise it back up some. I don't know that it ended up being all the way back up to ground level, but raised it up some more so that you didn't get such a harsh edge around the edge of the property. And then I started working on figuring out how to get the stairs going up to the building. The original building had these really cool flat stairs, which were really part of what drew me to the design in the first place, and I wanted to figure out sort of the best way to connect these while having different platform heights, and it took me a little while, but I eventually figure it out and make it workable, which actually doesn't happen until later when I playtest it. This iteration right here is very close to being functional, but isn't fully functional. So later I have to go back in and make some adjustments so your Sims can actually walk up these stairs. I will say it takes them a really long time to get up the stairs because they're so long, and since each one is like one square tile, it takes forever. I decided that I didn't want to try to make this into a house because it was just going to be kind of complicated, and I liked the aesthetic as more of a nightclub lounge, so I wanted to make it more of a community lot, which I don't build a whole lot, so this was sort of a fun challenge. I really wanted this area around the stairs to be open to below, so that you had like a hole in the middle, and just with the circular walls it was not working out for me, so I gave up on that. I had to make some adjustments to my platform, and then I decided to move the build to a completely different lot, and I will actually I think I end up moving it one more time after this. So it ends up in San Myshuno. I used platforms to make this flat roof, or not platforms, half walls. And I also used half walls in the front. The original had this sort of open window stone wall, and I wanted to recreate that. The bathrooms, I just, had to have bathrooms for a community lot, so I had a little bit of fun playing with the lights and then just copied it to the floor below. So the two bathrooms are completely identical on the inside. At this point, I went back to messing with my stairs and trying to get them to match up with the landscape, and playing with the terrain tools, which is not a part of The Sims that I'm very good at, I think. I tend to get frustrated because it moves too fast and I can't get it as nice of a smooth, like, gradiential change as I always want. So I spent a really long time just playing with the terrain tools on this build. So I came in with a glass railing, and that was sort of when I decided I wanted to do this like white on brown finishes. The original was stone and concrete and wood, so I kind of liked that look and wanted to continue it. I tend to use more colors on my builds, but I liked using neutrals for the finishes for this. I think it ended up looking modern while still being warm and cozy looking. So I picked out platform colors, just basic white. I wanted everything to look clean and modern and not be too busy. But it was a little bit of a challenge to get everything looking right. The lighting in The Sims is so weird, and like sometimes you'll use the exact same swatch and it just looks completely different in a different part of the project. I wanted to add in, room trims, or not room trims, but level trims to try and make everything look a little bit more cohesive. So for Simsie Shell Challenge, you're not allowed to add any exterior walls. I did cheat a little bit because I deleted the wall on the curve, but I didn't want to use any full height walls just to be in the spirit of the challenge. So I used 2 half walls to try to make sort of a little bit over a full height wall, to emulate what was in the original image, and ended up, I think it worked pretty successfully. I ended up making it 1 tile wide, so it had a thickness to it. I wanted to use columns, and played around with a bunch of debug objects to try and make it look cohesive, and nothing was really working out. I'm sure if I had dug through debug more, maybe I could have figured it out. At one point I cut a lot of this out of the video, but at one point I tried the stone trash can and tried turning it upside down at the top and stacking them, but the tiling of the stones was too repetitive. It was really clear that it was just a bunch of objects stacked on top of each other. So that was sort of a silly idea that I had. And then I did another, this is actually not a full wall, it's an almost full wall on the top level to sort of match the other one. In the real image, you can see that there is a similar window opening, but I felt like for a nightclub, it made more sense to have this as a solid wall. And then I wanted to put in a little outdoor stage, just to make this patio feel a bit more like usable space. So I figured having a little performance space where you could have a band come and play made sense for it. So I wanted to put a microphone and keyboard and guitar all there. Then I started furnishing the inside. If you can't tell, I kind of bounce around a lot while I'm building. I have horrible ADHD, so if I get frustrated with one part, I'll just move to something else, or I'll remember that I didn't finish doing something and have to go back to it. So let's see, now I'm back to the wall, now I'm back to inside. I just bounce around all over the place, and hopefully that's not too annoying for y'all. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with the decorating, so it took me a little bit to figure that out. And then I decided I wanted to put a DJ booth downstairs so that there could be dance floor and music in the lower section. And I decided to put it on this little platform outside, and I think that ended up looking really cool. And here's me testing the stairs, trying to figure out how to get them to work. I realized that I needed to put a step, because technically the 2 platforms aren't connected. They have different foundation heights, so they're completely separate entities. And what I figured out was that I needed to make this back tile this back step 1 tile wide, and then I could put a step going up to the other platform that was just a single step, and it worked out. This also let me kind of smooth out some of the terrain underneath the stairs some, and even everything out, so that I had a better gradual slope around the site itself. I put some lights on the little almost full wall, and I really like it. Just gives the space a little bit more glow. Does anybody else's game do this where you have lights, but it feels like the lights aren't affecting the objects? Sometimes I'll put a light and it's like clearly shining on whatever objects I have in the space. And then other times, like with these lights, like they're not hitting the wall, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm used to like more traditional like rendering softwares that have a little bit higher capabilities than The Sims, or if it's just like something weird with my computer. Like these tables, like you can't tell that I like put lights on them at all. Like the chairs look black in my tour video at the end, even though they're white, and I cannot figure out what it is. I like went into my settings and was checking everything, and it just did not work. So I spent a lot of time fussing about with the lights. You may not know this if you have the build better buy mode, or better build buy mode, that's what it is, mod installed. You can actually change the color of the lights in build mode just by shift clicking on them, and you'll get the same menu that you get in the regular in live mode to change the lights and adjust the lighting and dimming, or the color and dimming rather. And so furnishing this was kind of complicated because I had these like corners I wanted to fill in. I ended up using some of the like little angled chairs, and I found one that had like a decent white and brown swatch, or angled love seats rather. I wanted to put a fireplace and like couldn't quite figure out where that should go before finally settling on the back wall. And then I used the little coffee table that's got the little fire pit in it, which I actually put some of those in the half wall just to give it like a little bit more interest. In my head, it was gonna like a, you know, wall with like a whole big fireplace in the middle of it that was like see-through, but you can't actually do that in The Sims, so you'll just have to use your imagination, I guess. I wish you could do that kind of thing though. Yeah, decorating this lot was kind of boring, just for me, just because it was sort of plain and modern. I usually like to use a lot more color in my builds, and I maybe ended up going a little bit overboard with the color when it came to the lighting, but I think it makes it fun and makes it feel like a nightclub. Lots of nightclubs have just garish lighting, but it's part of the like appeal of them. So at this point I start working on the landscaping a little bit more, like beyond just having it be the terrain tools, and start working with some terrain paint, which I'm not super great with, and figuring out the foundation heights to make everything a little bit more cohesive. I really hate how it turns like brown near the buildings, and that you can't raise the terrain like smoothly around a building. Like, I don't understand why, because in real life you like always can have terrain coming like straight up to a building. Like, if I had been able to, I really would have wanted to have the like bottom floor covered in more on the back, so it felt more like an actual basement. Like, I feel like all of the basements that I know of are like, they're a basement from the entrance, like from one side of the house or building, and then are on ground level on the other side. That may be less common in other places, I'm not sure, but that's like what I'm used to as far as basements, and I hate that you can't do that in The Sims. So I put this little pond, and I thought it was really cute, and then started playing around in debug to find rocks to make it look a little bit more cohesive. A lot of times when I try to do terrain stuff that's a little bit more intense, I will try to cover it up with landscaping. And so I feel like these rocks were really successful in making it feel like this space was sort of cut into the land, as opposed to like the land being raised up around it. I spent forever placing these rocks. I went through like all of the rocks in debug and was moving all of them individually with the tool mod, and I think it was worth it, but it definitely took a really long time. I would love to get better at building faster. Like, this build took me, I think, about 6 hours, and like that's just not feasible for like putting not speed build on YouTube, and gets a little boring if I'm streaming it. So I would definitely love to get better at building quickly, because I always like spend so much time on all the little details, and then even though I feel like I spend so much time, I look at other people's builds, especially for these like shell challenges, and they just have so much more detail, and I'm like, oh my god, how long did you spend on this? Because I spent hours on mine and it's still not nearly as detailed. But I had a lot of fun like fitting all these little rocks in and making them fill in the space. I feel like it made the pond feel a lot more realistic. Like, it made sense that it was there instead of it just being there because I wanted to add a pond, which is mostly why it was there. And I feel like it helped make the stairs feel a little bit more connected to the rest of the space by having all of this. So, yeah. Still placing rocks. Like I said, it took me a while to do this. At some point in here, I took a break and it changed days. I don't remember exactly when that happened. I then started working on trying to like cover up this seam in my wall. I wanted to make it look like it was just one piece of stone, like a big column. But I again didn't want to cheat, so I just used a bunch of plants to like cover up the seam. You can still kind of see it, but I think it worked decently. It was fun. Playing around with everything. I definitely like enjoy placing stuff and like being really fiddly with the placement of everything in The Sims. I don't know why. You see me like using the tool mod to like shift stuff and raise stuff and rotate stuff, and I, put some stuff and then deleted it and all kinds of things. While we're watching this, a little bit about me. I've been playing The Sims since the very first Sims game. Honestly, I don't remember, ever not playing The Sims. I had an older brother, so I assume he was probably the one that, bought the first one, but, I have played every single Sims game. I had, most of the expansion packs for Sims 2 and a lot of the expansion packs for Sims 3. When Sims 4 came out, I bought it on release, and a lot of people was very underwhelmed by it, but have sort of recently come back to it. I'm in grad school now, and I've found that it's been a nice distraction from schoolwork, while still sort of feeling like I'm doing something school related, because I am in a design field, so spending time designing stuff in The Sims isn't completely a waste of time. It's mostly a waste of time, but not 100%. So I've gotten really into doing mostly build stuff. I always found live mode in The Sims, I get bored with it, because I get super into making sure my sim is super productive, and then it just gets boring because all they're doing all day is training up their skills. So I need to work on actually playing The Sims and having fun playing with the Sims instead of just making them work until their death, which may say more about me than The Sims. Who knows? But everything is sort of starting to come together here. I'm beginning to finish up. I just gotta place a few more rocks. And then I play with the lights a little bit more here in a minute. I seriously spent forever placing these rocks. It was weirdly satisfying. Something about sticking the rocks in the ground and making them look like they're part of the actual terrain is fun, but running out of things to talk about. You guys don't know me yet. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about. Other people tell stories, but I don't have a great story. I went rock climbing yesterday. I'm not very good at it, but I really want to be. And I only ever end up going to the gym on free rock climbing day, so it's always super crowded. And I definitely fell and hurt my knee on the very first climb I did. I was able to climb like a little bit more, but it just sort of ruined the outing for me. To be clear, I'm talking about like indoor bouldering, not any sort of intense outdoor. I'm not climbing up cliffs or anything. I fell onto I didn't even fall. I like jumped off the wall intentionally, and it was like technically a absolutely fine fall, but I'm getting old and something popped and now it hurts to walk. Isn't that life? So I placed down some flowers. I never know how to like landscape things. I feel like I'm getting better at it, but landscaping and like roofing are like the parts I have the most trouble with. Like, I made this weird little triangle part over to the side, and I don't know if that looks good or if it looks weird. And then I just spent a really long time setting the lights. My undergraduate degree is actually in theatrical lighting design, so I will probably make a series about the lights in The Sims and why they're awful. I think it would be so much fun to like go through and rate all of the lights. They're almost all horrible. I absolutely love that we finally have a strip light. Like, this light is good for so many things. It's great for under cabinet lighting. It's great for like a neon look. It's great for, you know, washing walls when it actually works. But the lights in The Sims are so buggy, and I know more about lights than the average person, and it bothers me so much. I tried to learn how to make custom content the other day and just kind of gave up on it. I've got like a model made, but haven't tried to like import it into The Sims in any way yet. But I would love to make some custom lights that are like actually look like modern lights and like function in some sort of reasonable manner, because the lights on The Sims are just so bad. Like, they're so bad. I can't even. Let me know if y'all want to hear me do a series on the lights in The Sims, because so many of them are just so ugly, and like the distributions of them are weird, and like, why don't we just have some like normal looking lights? Like, why are they all so weird? Why are they all so weird, basically? Like, The Sims needs to like go take a look at just some like lighting manufacturers' websites and look at some real lights. But I do have fun like placing them and figuring out like which ones make the best effect that I want. I do tend to gravitate towards like the same lights. Like, now that we have a strip light, I use it constantly. I like that little sconce that I placed in a couple of places that's got like the up-down distribution. Everybody uses the little puck lights, which I guess are supposed to be like a recessed cylinder, but like a recessed can light, but it just looks like you stuck a hockey puck to a ceiling. I mean, I do like that like the distribution of them is somewhat accurate, like with these stage lights that I placed, but I feel like most of them are not aesthetically pleasing, is probably the right word. Like, they're just, a lot of them are super ugly and like super outdated in a way that like, I wasn't doing like lighting design for houses when, or like retail spaces, like public spaces, that kind of thing, when The Sims 4 originally came out, but like I feel like the lights were probably outdated then as well, and like they definitely are now. Like I said, I could talk about the lights in The Sims for literal hours, so let me know if y'all want me to make some more content about it. But it looks like we have finished up, so let's take a look at the build itself and start and do a little tour. So you start, and we're gonna go up the stairs, and we've got this lovely little pattern of dappled little flower lights lighting our path as we go up. These lights are super cute. Like, they're silly, but they're really cute. I may have to use them more. But coming up, we've got seating and a nice little performance space that your Sims can come perform at or watch someone perform at for some entertainment. We've got our nice little tables, and then you can go inside and grab yourself a drink. This is my first tour, and now it feels really slow. So we got some seating over in the corner, and then on the opposite side, we've got our bar with its cute little cocktail martini light and some little under bar lights. And then we've got just some like standing cocktail tables around the stairs, and somehow this one little piece of exterior level trim ended up on the inside, because aren't the circular walls great? And then we've got our bathroom, which is just a nice little like backlit mirror and a sink. And you know what? I just realized that I probably forgot to put like soap and toilet paper. I don't know why, but like in my houses, I always have to at least put toilet paper in the bathrooms. Just completely forgot it on this one. I think it might be in there. Who knows? Someone let me know if there's toilet paper in the bathroom. And then we go downstairs to our lower level, which is got a little bit more comfy seating, but also has our dance floor. So you come down the stairs and you are just right on that dance floor, because this whole place is a little tight. We've got our fun infinity mirror. We've got some fun little lights lighting up the walls. We've got our little cozy seating nook with our little with our little coffee table with fire on it. And we've got our little fireplace that I didn't turn on before I did this tour. I really like these little slats that I put on the wall and then put one of the strip lights behind them. I think it looks cute. And then we can come back out and we can walk around by our little pond, follow our little path back out to the street. I think this ended up being a really like cute and modern but still pretty cozy little lounge. I can see your Sims, sitting there with a cocktail listening to some celebrity croon in the balcony and then dancing down below. I hope you guys had a fun time. Definitely, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Like I said, I'm in grad school and I don't know how often I'm going to be able to post videos, but I would love to make this a regular thing. So hopefully you'll tune in for more. Thanks, everyone. Bye!